Any new videos in the intro, Devil Dude? As you can possibly appreciate, I've been extremely busy. But maybe we'll get some new highlights soon. Yeah, I mean, Yoshi, some people will be upset, but it is what it is, right? Any progress on the PC? Yes, I need to email Asus back. The spec is closing in. It's almost there. I've just got to pick my case out of a choice of 2 or 3 now. Decide on the RAM, and then we should be good to go and get it all booked in. I want to do some research because I'm going to go to sleep and make it morning. And I've decided, because we've only got 10 points, there's a few things that we need here. I wouldn't mind water jets, but then I wouldn't mind firefighting equipment so we can do those jobs. But we don't have enough points for that. So one of the ones I want is basic mechanics, which is this one. Because basic mechanics will give us a whole bunch of pivots and track bases and hinges and things like this, and I really, really want this stuff now, so I'm going to go and kick that off and then jump in bed and make it morning. That's true, Hannah. I can just download it anytime, can't I? Retrieve all rig parts. Nope. Basic mechanics. Right, let's make it morning. There we go. Yay, we've got basic mechanics researched. Do you still have a OnePlus phone? Dude, I only ever bought one OnePlus phone, and that was the first one. And after a few months, when Mrs. Squirrel's phone started going funny, and I experienced the travesty that is the customer service, I have never, ever bought a OnePlus phone. Like, I think the state things are in now, their phones are good, but I don't know what their customer service is like. What percent complete is the rig? I don't know. What? 83.94% complete. I don't know. It's stuff left. Why is RAM expensive these days? Lots of reasons. Market fluctuations. But mostly, like right now, what you've got going on with the coronavirus in China, like huge amounts of factories have closed down. Like the workers can't go to work, so they can't manufacture stuff, which is affecting the supply chain. So what happens? The prices start going up because supply goes down. Yeah. Yeah, Mouse, I mean, I've had an Apple phone for years and, you know, Apple is what it is. But I know if something goes wrong with my phone, I can take it back and get it sorted, so... OnePlus? Couldn't do it. How did it start this game from the start? Right, do you want to see my boat? Because I've done a couple of tweaks, but I've got a big list. I've got a big list of things that I want to do. Mr. Puppies is going to join at 7, so I'm gonna basically build some systems onto the boat until then. Yeah, it's an actual list written on actual paper. Like things that I want to do to the boat. I'll show you the boat. You ready for this? No, not that one. That one. Okay, so first of all, as you can see, I finished off the corners. They're now done. Second thing is, I've actually painted it. So it has a color scheme. The third thing you might notice is I've taken the whole cabin and shoved it forward. So I've got more space back here. And the center of mass has moved forward a little bit. Yeah, I saw it at the corner. So I've just made it kind of, you know, just done some tweaks, really. I did something inside. I can't remember what it was. Oh, that was it. I put a function on this thing so that it should show the speed in knots now, and rather than meters per second. Yeah, the bow thrusters, like, they work, but not massively well. I'm not really happy with the bow thrusters. I think when I get the water jet, I might, and now we've got the pivot unlocked, I might change this. I might have a water jet that I can just turn around and point it. Did you figure out the azimuth? I'm not, no, I didn't. Simulator 5115, thank you for 2 years. Happy anniversary. Mr. Kaliloth, would you look at that? 28 months beware the game physics. Dude, they're not bad, actually. Not bad. Back from Singapore, says Firefighter. Trip didn't go exactly to plan. Oh, yeah. Crikey. Benjamin Cruz. First tier of a 777. Yeah, it might be a while before you get the 777, though. Ted T. Zummer. Lurking for that long. 10 months, indeed. Thumbs, thank you for 77. See, Thumbs is closer than you, Benjamin. He's on 77. He's just got one more 7 to add. Could you please say how you control the throttle with clutch and keys? Yeah, so... Happy anniversary. Let me just remember this. So I have the clutch configured. So if you use the pilot seat thing, the clutch is down here, isn't it? That is the clutch here. So the clutch is driven off of that dot there. And that dot there is driven, if you hover over it, tells you. It says axis 4 up and down. Now they're the arrow keys, the up and down arrow keys. So if I want to engage the clutch, I press the up arrow key, and it's a bit like lifting your foot on the clutch. That engages the drive on the propeller. So that's how you control it with the up down arrow keys. Does that make sense? But it does depend what you attach it to. Like, you can attach it to something else if you really wanted to. Like axis A and D, right? That's usually left and right. Because if you look on a keyboard, A and D, normally you'd want that left and right. So you attach those to your rudder. And then W and S, you can attach those to whatever you like. On this one, it's attached to here, throttle. So you press W, and it displays the throttle over here. Well, actually what it does is it controls the throttle here. Yeah. So if you get out of there, get out of here, it actually displays on a dial, one of these here, throttle. So you tell it, you give it a name, throttle. So when you're in the cabin and you hover the mouse over it, it tells you what it is. And then you configure the values of the throttle and anything between 0 and 1. Same with the clutch. And that just lets you, it just gives you something to watch. Like when you're raising the clutch up, you can see roughly where the needle is. That's the whole point of that. Am I using one thruster at a time? One thruster at a time? No. No, it's all driven. Like if you press up on the clutch, it actually drives both of them. If you look at that, it drives 2 clutches, which goes to identical gearboxes, which then goes into the propeller. And you know, the clutches are driven off a single power axis. So the power comes out the engine, it gets split 3 ways. One goes through the clutch, the other goes through the other clutch, and then finally comes into this generator, which generates power to power the batteries. You meant the front ones. Oh, these are driven off the left and right arrows, I think. Hang on, I'm trying to remember now. I don't use them very much. I drove them off a throttle. There we go. Throttle value left. Throttle value right. Yeah, so what I've done is I've put two of these in here. So I've got 2 independent throttles, and you basically slide them forward or backwards, and they increase or decrease the propeller power, as it were. I'm not really. I'm going to change that. I'm not really massively happy with the way it works. It was just something that I put on the boat so that we could actually push the front end away if we need to. Because sometimes you can go and dock somewhere and it's not hard. It's not easy to get out. Like, you have to push away. You made a boat with 6 small engines, but the throttle is quite unwieldy, I bet. I'd advise a gearbox in one of those to reverse it so that you can use them at the same time. Yeah, I'd kind of like to just have one of them, to be honest. Mr. Weasel, thank you for the 250 bits. Birthday boy is here. Oh, happy birthday, Weasel. Hope you and the family well. Continue. Thanks for all you do and bringing the nut house together. Thank you, dude. Yeah, Mrs. Squirrel's had a cold for the last few days, so she's not been very happy. But apart from that, all good. So, Nightbird, if you would like to look at my list, you will find that lights is on there, cross-feed pump is on there, and cargo area is on there. It's on my list. But yeah, thinking about the lights, I've decided I want deck lights, underwater lights, and then some spotlights. So we'll we'll maybe get on with that. Let's go with got a searchlight. Probably want a couple of them, don't we? A small spotlight mounted. We could perhaps have maybe a couple of these down here. Maybe put a couple down there, like little headlights or something. Or even there. That looks pretty cool. It's on the list. Sorry, Weasel, I did read it out. Can you change the color of the small spotlight's glass lenses? You can change the color. Yeah, I know you can. You can change the color of any of the lights. You can even feed the lights to an optic cable and drive the RGB value. You can make it whatever you want. You want nav lights, Sanjit? Excuse me. Yovhato, thank you for 40 months. Double top for you. Yeah, so I have a couple of lights here. We'll drive them off the same as the main. I'm trying to think about what we want to switch on or switch off. I think maybe the outside lights here, which would include any nav lighting, they can be driven off a button, which may well, or we could just put it automatically on like this. Like when you hit that button there. Where's that? When you hit this button here, interior lights, that's automatically on by default. So when you throw that switch, these lights automatically come on. So we could treat these the same way, maybe. It always happens in the first 10 minutes when you join the stream. Oh dear. Wasting a lot of space over here. Could put a whole lot of buttons here. Buttons right there, I reckon. Do the fuel gauges work? Yes, they do. They actually do. The this works here as well. So this measures the fluid. This measures the fluid in the storage tank. So whatever you've got in this bit here, there's a sensor. That's a sensor. It calculates the capacity of this space and also how much liquid is in it, and then it presents it here. The actual fuel tank. Where did I put the fuel tank? That's the ballast tank. Where did I put the fuel? Was it here? I'm trying to remember which one was the fuel gauge. There it is. Yeah, 8,400 litres. 8,400 litres of fuel on here. And what I'd probably like to add at some point is like a low fuel light that comes on when you get below a certain value. So yeah, that's all calculated on the fly. So when we spawn in, you'll see that needle's on empty. Because the boat spawns with no fuel in it, which is a bit annoying in advanced mode, but that's the way it is. Okay, I think a decent place for the lighting might be here next to the whole ignition control system. So I think we'll add some buttons here, I think. Is everything good to go on the rig? No. It's operational. I've added a bunch of stuff to it, but there's more to be added yet. I've already got my shifter installed. I've got my shifter installed, which I'm really happy about because the way I've done it is nice. And I've also got my Warthog stick installed. And that looks. And I've even got my TQ6 throttles installed as well. So, yeah. You have to run wires. Yeah, I've got to do all that, yeah. I'm kind of in the point of accessory mounting, which has taken quite a bit of time to figure out exactly where the best place is to put everything. Because, you know, with a kit like this, there's an endless combination of ways you could do this. But, you know, you don't know till you get the stuff. Go, well, if I put the throttle here, and if I put the mouse pad there, that doesn't work because that's in the way. Right, okay, so what else can I do? Well, if I slide that down there and put that over here, if I have a piece of metal, and I have this metal here, and I can clamp something to there, will that work? And there's so much of that kind of figuring out. That's what's taken the time this week, just figuring out, but I'm really happy with it. I've actually got most of the things I need on there. I don't have the stream deck on, that's one thing that's missing. And I don't have the camera or the lights, and it's not all wired together. So, you know, I wouldn't like to estimate how close I am, but I'm definitely going to finish it next week. Like 95% finished. Operational, shall we say. Mr. Weasel, thank you for the biddies again. As I'm unfortunate to be having beef joints with all the trimmings tonight. Oh no, you poor soul. There's a few more bits towards some doggo treats. P.S. Love all the Nut House and their messages. Enjoy, Weasel. Right, so we shall say that's the engine run DD you want, mate. That's the engine run key. That's the engine start key, which is driven off a nice little switch, which I like. We want two lots of lights here. I think if you press start, you're probably going to press that as well. So we'll say... what should we call them? Like the perimeter lights and the front lights. You want the front lights on a separate switch, I wonder. Let's just call it nav lights. We'll call it nav lights. Let's go outside. And actually, I'm bound to forget if I don't do this now. Let's put some power in there. Fuel disconnect. I forgot to add power to that. Right, so I've got two lights here. I can't remember on a boat, where did they have nav lights? Did they actually have green and red nav lights on a boat? It must do, right? That's presumably where planes got it from. If they do, where do they do it? They put it on the back here or something? Do they have it on the front? Do they have it on the... They probably don't have it on the side, do they? It's going to be front-facing and rear-facing, surely. Maybe like here or something. I don't know. Top of the bridge. Ah, okay. So they put it up here. Did they put it front and back on the bridge then? Put them here, but then I kind of want to have the spotlights here. On the side of the cabin. As in, they put... What, they put it down the side like that? I would have thought it was more important from the front or back. Lights have a 135-degree field of view from the front, with the rear being white. Interesting. Could do some deck lighting and all that much. Indicator lights, RGB, light. Let's do that.
Happy anniversary, Natter.
RGB all the way. Well, I'm going to do, you don't, RGB is more for when you want to drive it. If you don't need to drive the color, and you just want to set it once and leave it, it's not worth doing the RGB thing. It's actually just easier to do that. You have no idea what this game is, so don't listen to me. Okay, duly noted. Might put some little lights in there, so it looks slightly cool. Use the other ones, like little indicator lights. Oh no, I can't do that because they're sloped. That would ruin the interior. Wait, that's not ruin the interior. No, that's good. How did Mrs. Squirrel get a cold? I don't know. I don't know where she got it from. Right, so that'll put the nav lights on, and then that'll put these two lights on, and then kind of nice to just have some other lighting around the boat. Kind of like having slightly underwater lighting because they look pretty cool. It's very hard to see what's going on. They have white nav lights in the front and in the back and on top of the middle rod. Yeah. I'll do the front and the back. Try and get the right. Okay. We'll do the front and the back and then we'll leave it there. It's going to spoil the look. Okay, let's get that wide up. So the main power. Main power is driven by this thing. So we've got the two rear lights. We've got 2 front nav lights, 2 rear nav lights, spotlights, and those lights. And they're all going to be driven off that switch. So we change to that, find the right switch, which I think was this one. Nav lights. And we'll switch those two, those two. Nope, that was a mistake. Those two. Should be driven by that. Okay, let's try that. I also rebalanced it as well. Because I moved the top, I kind of moved the cabin forward, it rebalanced everything. Now the boat spawns without any ballast in the front, and you can see it sits slightly nose down, which is pretty decent, without any water in it. Okay. We throw that switch. Main lights come on. So none of the lights are on, and we throw that switch. Oh, I didn't use a toggle! You scumbag! Scumbag! Used the wrong kind of button. That's annoying. What's annoying is you can't just swap it out, so now I've got to, like, delete the button and then do all that wiring there again. It's my own fault. Toggle button, two-sided, that one. Nav lights default state off. Power to them. Then nav lights toggled. Should do it. I think I threw the wrong switch then. Okay.
Happy anniversary, Natter.
Some nice forward-facing lights. Some lights at the back. And some nav lights. Cool. Is it really a good idea to invest in early access games? Firefighter, I could cite you cases where investing in an early access game was a great idea, and examples where investing in them was a really bad idea. At the end of the day, it's a gamble. Nope, no hydrofoils. Does the game have multiplayer? Yeah. So you can either host the game yourself, or since last week, you can now run a dedicated server. However, there are a few bugs in the Dedi server, one of which is you can't sleep. So that's a bit of an annoying one. Right. I would also like some underwater lighting for when we're doing diving type work. You know, I can't, literally can't see this surface in this color. Do that temporarily. How do you join a server? When you click on the main menu, you click multiplayer, and then you've got host a game, join a friend's game, or join an internet game. Internet game are dedicated servers. Friends game is a friends game. Host is like you host a game and your friends join you. Investing in ACC was a good idea. Well, look at Project Cars. If you invested in that, when they basically finished the game, they immediately started Project Cars 2. You're like, what? How does that work? Right, lights. So annoying rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Welcome back, Nutter. Happy anniversary, Nutter.
Should be enough. When I say Assetto Corsa is better than iRacing. Better at what, Himbo? I hate it when people say something is better than something else. You need to qualify what you mean by that. Assetto Corsa is better at some things than iRacing. iRacing is better at some things than Assetto. But that's like a lot of games. It's like saying which is better, X-Plane or P3D. Both flight sims, right? So, you know, you end up in that whole kind of, oh, this one's better. Better at what? You added a bracket GT3 cars. What do you mean? What about the online experience? What's the online racing experience like in Assetto Corsa in GT3? Well, obviously iPhone's a better castrator. Right, well, power to them. Do we want to put... Hang on, let's have a think about this. It'd be kind of cool to have all your lighting over here, but if you were controlling... I mean, that could be the underwater lights. If you want to control the spotlights, you probably need a throttle to, like, turn them around and stuff. Online bugs in Assetto Corsa. Any sort of tap from the back and you're around in a shot. Yeah, but look at it this way. When the new Microsoft Flight Sim comes out, Lestat, it won't just be which is better, P3D or X-Plane. It'll be which is better, P3D, X-Plane, or Microsoft Flight Sim. We're just going to add another to the mix. It's not like everybody's going to defect away from X-Plane or P3D and suddenly start flying. They're not going to do that. They're too heavily invested. So you're going to have 3 in the mix. Uh-oh, delete something. Have lights. What would you call the lights underneath the boat? Like, under lights doesn't sound right. Undersea lights doesn't sound right because they're not under the sea. Sea lights is too ambiguous. Under deck sounds weird. Hull lights. It's ambiguous, but keel. Like keel or hull? Keel. I think I prefer keel. Let's go with keel lights. It kind of gives you the right idea, doesn't it? That's what's important. Belly lights. It might be lying on its back. No, you can't call it floodlights. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't tell you where they are at all. Right, keel lights. So I think we added. Oh, something else I did to simplify things. I joined all of these batteries. I joined all these batteries up to this relay and then just sent the relay up to the breaker. It's like, rather than have like all these battery lines going up there, I thought, why don't we just collect them in here on a breaker, which is always on, or relay, which is always on, and then just send them up that way just to stop the spaghetti a little bit. But I'd kind of like to have, you know what the game needs? I kind of use the relay for this, but it's not really a relay. Just a straight junction box. Like just a box that just connects everything that comes in. I don't know if there is one. I couldn't find it, but I've got everything just going into a relay instead and said the relay's always on. So it's kind of like a junction box, but it just lets me collect everything and then send one line up. And what I'd like to do, I think, is probably like put a relay here and just have all this stuff going into the relay and then have the relay go into that. Otherwise, you just end up with this. It's absurdity. Search for what? A buzz bar. I haven't got a buzz bar. I've only got buzzer. I haven't got everything unlocked. Biggie Size, thank you very, very much for gifting 5 subs, Biggie. Welcome to the Nut House, guys. Thank you so much for gifting 5 subs, Biggie. Please give him a thank you if you got one. Asylum Escapee, thank you for 15. Finlay. Squirrel's changed my name to Finlay Scully now instead of Finlay. Finlay's how Pippa and Doyle and yourself. Not bad, Finlay, thank you. Pippa's had some injections today, so she's kind of crashed out right now. We need horns. You can actually put a foghorn on it. I think you need what we call composite in this game. It would work with new 4-in-1 displays. I think you need what composite is in this game. I'm just talking about the electrics, not data. You can chain electrical connections rather than spider webbing.
Welcome back, Nutter.
I don't like chaining stuff. I really don't like chaining. The reason I don't like chaining stuff is because if I come along later and delete one of these things and I've forgotten to just, you know what I mean? A chain is risky because if you break a link in the chain, everything dies. I'd rather just all of it go into a junction. In fact, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna add it in here somewhere. I'm gonna bury it in here. I've got some space. Stick a relay in. There we go. You put a relay there, and then you call it instrument relay, and then you turn it on by default. And then instead of having all of this stuff, which is the A and B. That's the A, that's the B. So the B is going to come out. It's already difficult to see what's going on.
Ay, 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 ay.
This is so going to break everything. Oh, let's put one on that side as well because I'm in symmetry mode. Yay. I think cat strays are like a lot of things. As you just learn, as you play the game, you kind of learn, like problems just
Ay, ay, ay,
like prevent problems present themselves later. Like this spaghetti wiring is like an emergent problem that I would not have thought of before,
Welcome back,
and I could ignore it,
Nutter.
but I'd rather not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the power coming out from the main breaker going to A, like that, and then B, which is the output of the relay. This is going to connect all this stuff.
Happy anniversary, Nutter.
So now I can see all of that stuff is going to this relay, and then this relay goes back. And then over here now, this doesn't look quite so bad. Wow, Squirrel's looking scruffy. I dig the new look. But what's the lady say about it? I presume you're referring to my very well-kempt beard. This Squirrel likes it. Game Manet, thank you very much. Guess the song. Why is everybody always picking on me? I know that lyric. Can't think of the song now. Jeremiah's, thank you, 37. So we could come out of symmetry mode and just get rid of that. Spad, relay. And find it, isn't it? Cool. I prefer that. So I think the yeah, so I mean the lights down in the deck down there, we could, you know, you can do the same thing, just put a relay down here, connect all the lights to the relay, and then just send one wire up here. I think that would be just way better way of doing it. It'd be nice if you could hide electrical nodes and only see unconnected ones. You kind of can. When you highlight on something, it shows you everything that's connected to it in a different color. Like, so white will show you a positive connection, and then yellow will show you none. But I know what you mean. Bus bar. I haven't got bus bar. I don't have everything unlocked. I'm not in creative. I have a good starter beard going. Yeah, right. There's no way I'm letting my beard get to anything like that length. Okay, so that should be... Ooh, they're pretty powerful, actually. Blimey. I'm not even sure if we need spotlights, apart from perhaps later on when we do rescues and we want to point the light at the fire or whatever it is we're trying to get.
Happy anniversary, Nutter.
And then we have the Keel Lights, which is that one. Put those on. So they make it a bit easier when you're trying to do diving missions and you just can't see anything down there.
Back, Nutter.
So yeah. They seem to work. It's like I didn't completely break everything. I like how the engine temp's at 5. It must be 5 Celsius in the game. Is this still the tanker? It's not really a tanker. It's going to be... It's a kind of a multi-purpose boat, as you'll see. So I'll take off the list lights, because we've done lights. Tootsie, thank you for 32 months. The rear nav lights... Oh yes, I didn't correct it. Thank you. Actually, I wasn't... Do we want the rear ones to be that? So I kind of thought that it was white like the front ones. Do they have white ones on the rear? Is it just the cabin that is nav? Yes, I'm in advanced mode. What's the aim meaning of the game? Construct machines that can help you do missions. Color in front and side, white in rear. Interesting. What, so even they would be white? Even these? Red and green are for the front. So... You see, the thing is, Ruthless, the whole point of nav lights is that you can tell if something's coming at you or is going away from you. So why would you only want it on the front? If I'm at night and I look at a boat, right, and I see this, I know the boat's going away from me. If I see this, I know the boat's coming towards me. If I only put it on the front and the boat's going away from me, I'll have no idea. You have a video of the finished rig? Not yet. I will be doing a video about it, don't worry. I'll do a video about my studio refit. And I'll also I'm going to do a video just dedicated to the rig when it's done. Just going over the whole thing and what I've done. Pictures? Well, it's not finished yet. I haven't finished it. How much on a PC? I have no clue. I've not finalized the build yet. Right, on my list, I've got... I was going to build a storage platform. But I was thinking about doing something clever in this regard. Have you started single PC streaming? I've been on single since I came back after Christmas. Okay, so that is storage bay. Kind of feels like this bit's going to be dead space, really. Maybe I should just give it up to the ballast. I'm not entirely sure if it'll ever need that much front ballast, though. Red and green on the sides. Technically, you don't need them on the sides. Because it's not coming at you. If you can't see the colours, it's not coming at you anyway. You'll pay 15k out of your dad's army pension for your PC and monitor. What? What? L. Phillips. Paul, I would like to say thank you for the GT Omega discount code. Mine arrived on Tuesday and I'm in love with it. Definitely suits my bum, comforting desires. Lol. Glad you're happy. I'm kind of thinking about just removing this here. I think we may as well give that more ballast space. I really don't think we're going to need it. We need crossbleed tanks going on as well. I'm not going to mess about with that. I may bring this wall back and give it more storage though. Don't think we need the space here. So I think we can probably go and Let's think.
Aye, 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 aye.
To move this wall back to here, we're going to get a lot more storage. Liquid storage. Extend the liquid storage into that bit. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm thinking about extending the liquid storage into this. And then anything up to here can be cargo. I'm thinking about having a floor that comes up as well. So I'm thinking about having a floor like that raises up and then has a bit of a lip on it. So you put stuff on the floor, press a button, the floor goes down, and then the lid comes down. That kind of thing is what I'm thinking about. King Eaglefist, Paul, you missed my resub. I apologize. It's not on my screen. 25 months. How's the new rig and keep up the good work? Thank you, sir. New rig is getting there, is the best phrase I can use. Look at this lighting diagram and let's end this discussion here. Okay. Let's have a look. It's a multi-use bot so you can fill the liquid storage with water and be a firefighting boat. Good thinking, Sanjit. I like it. In theory, we can actually, if we do some clever stuff. Because at the moment it's only piped into the connectors, but we could pipe it to potentially to a fluid intake valve and load it with water, seawater. That site doesn't load for me, Bjorn. So let's move this wall back for a kickoff. This time we'll try and remember the all-important corners. Seriously can't see a thing. That looks to be sealed off. Is there much left on the rig? I'm trying to think if there's a way I can just give you a very quick tour of the mess over here. The trouble is, I suppose I could leave. Hang on. Give me a second and I'll see. I don't know what the lighting's like. Hang on. Let's see if I can plug a HDMI cable in and just wing this. Yes, this will be interesting, Mr. Heyman. I'll be amazed if it works. See what happens. Am I on my own today? What do you mean? Right, let's see how this goes. Think about which is the best scene. Oh, there we go. Oh, that worked first time, didn't it? We have the technology. Right. I'm not going to mess about with my lights, so the image might not be great. Can you all see that? Mess? Don't talk to me about mess. This is a mess. Can you see this? This is what this is tidied up. I have so many bolts, T-nuts, just bits of extrusion. This is what's going on right now. Anyway, let's go and have a look over here. I hope this thing works properly. There's only so far I can go with the microphone, that's the problem. Try and give you a quick tour. So, yeah, there's the seat, obviously. Anyway, here's the important stuff. So you can see that the wheel is in. And then on the left over here, you can see I've got the keyboard. So the keyboard's on a keyboard tray that you basically like slide in when you want to use it. And the whole thing like tilts down like that. You can type. So when you want to type, you can just do that with it. And then at night, you can just tilt it up and stow it away. So it's out the way. Down here, this is where I've mounted my Virtual Fly TQ6. This took a bit of rigging. As you can see, I had to get a little bit creative with this one. There's various components off. This is off a different thing to that. That's off a different thing to that. Like, I had to get creative. But yeah, what this allows me to do is if I'm flying, then I can basically just pull that in like that. Well, probably about there. And basically use it. It's not, sorry about the lights, and I haven't got the lights on over here. But you get the idea. If I want to fly, I can just bring the throttle sticks in and stuff. I can use that for GA flying. I could use it for jets. Doesn't really matter. It'll work for anything, that thing. On the actual wheel deck there, so if I want to take that wheel off, I pop 3 bolts underneath, which takes like a minute. Take it off. And because it's a deck, I can just clamp a yoke to it. If I want to fly military stuff, like DCS, you can see over there, I've mounted. So what you do is you take the base off, the Warthog, and then you get like this plate from Monster Tech that allows you to mount it. I'm going to step over here so you won't have the mic. I'll just show you and explain. I don't know if you can see or not, but you've got the actual stick is mounted on a plate and the plate is bolted to the frame. And that's in a really good position when you're flying. You can see I've got an extension on there. You can buy extensions for the Warthog. And that is the middle one, I think, out of the 3 they do. And that just raises the height. And what that does is it gives you more fine-grained control, which is like, if you're playing a game like DCS and you fly in formation, the Warthog can be a little bit stiff. If you add the extension on it, you get much more leverage and gives you much more fine-grained control. It's really nice. And then next to it is a mouse pad, which is also mounted. And then next to that, hopefully you can see it, is my shifter. So they're mounted on the same rail. There's like, I mounted a cross piece, which then takes the mouse pad and the shifter, which I'm quite happy about. That took a while to get that solution, that kind of elegant solution. And then there's a stream deck over there, which isn't mounted yet. You can see I've been playing with brackets, trying to work out how I can mount it, but I haven't got a proper solution for that yet. I think, I don't know if you saw it when the monitor was on. Both monitors are on now, so that's all done. And then round the back, oh, the cable's not long enough. Round the back, you can see I've got the Fanatec pedals on there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm up to. What's distinctly missing from the whole thing is lighting and camera support. So I need to mount a camera probably on the top of this thing so it looks down at me. And then I'll have another. See, I've got various bits of extrusion that I need to probably mount off the back. So something like that on the other side. And then I can clamp into it and use something like this, which is handily getting wrapped around all the cables. Something like this will clamp onto that, and then that will bring the camera up, so you've got like an overhead kind of view going on. But yeah, that's going to have to wait. There's not going to be a farm sim controller on there, Baz. A, it's too bulky, and B, I've got better solutions. So I won't have the farm sim controller on there. I just honestly think sticking a cheap Cytec controller on this rig will just devalue the whole thing. Like, nah, that's not happening. No, I've got proper button boxes. Like, these are the ones I took off the DS, off the these mount onto the side of the Club Sport, and this, what looks like carbon fiber, is actually aluminium pieces that I had water jet cut, and then I wrapped carbon fiber on it. But as I explained to the wife, the problem with button box, problem with button box is, like, if you only play one game, if you only play racing games, say, you can label the buttons on the button box and you're good, right? If you want to start playing different games, so if you play like a Euro Truck game, or you want to play a flight sim game or whatever, a button box becomes a real pain. Because you can't explain, you can't remember when you jump from game to game which button does what. Like, did I map this button to my lights? Did I map this dial to my brake bias? Like, what? I can't remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that Stream Deck instead. And I'm going to do it via that. Anyway, you'll see when it's done. I'm going to unplug this now. Turn it off. Tour ended.